Hello, everybody. Welcome to TCL Season 8, where we have a high-class bout between the Tasty Crab Legs and the Yappapotomi. My name is Alec, a.k.a. Toasty TG, along here with my good friend Spirit of Fate, here to bring you an absolutely banger of a series. Spirit of Fate, how are you doing today, my good friend?
Tested, rested, full of food, exactly where I want to be. Casting a TCL match.
Absolutely. This is going to be an absolute masterclass here between the sides of Tasty Crab Legs and Yappapotomi. Two really big storylines actually coming into round two. I know that we were talking a little bit off camera here as we get into Champ Select right off the bat. We're wasting absolutely zero time. There's a lot of history between these two teams. And not only is there a lot of historical significance for some of these players who have been here for seasons and seasons and seasons, but also some players who have kind of come back and some who are completely new. So let's talk about that, Spirit. Um,
Absolutely.
Looking right off of the side, we'll start with Tasty Crab Legs, who have happened to already ban away the Evelyn here. Supposedly a ban onto Black Hole Sun, which is one of those newer players that we were talking about previously here. Banning away the Darius as well from Hippogriff, an absolutely powerhouse of a champion for him as well. Something that we've seen quite a bit, as well as the Caitlyn. So right off the bat, let's talk about this draft and what both teams are starting to think here as they're going through it.
So the Caitlyn, I think, is just flavor of the month. Caitlyn's very strong AD carry. Neither AD carry wants to be against it. The Evelyn surprise Hippo, like you said, consummate Darius player. It's something he likes. The Evelyn surprised me. I know Teague plays Evelyn, so I'm not sure why he's the one doing the banning. Black Hole Sun. I think that Teague's champion pool and general skill set would be the sort of thing where he could just take advantage of an Evelyn going and invade. So I'm curious why the ban. Maybe they know something that we don't. We're
Yeah,
seeing the Lilia ban for Teague again, getting rid of some of those priority AP junglers who can take advantage of Blackfire Torch, Leandries, those double burns and such.
yeah, it's crazy you mentioned the Blackfire Torch. As we actually get out of lobby here, it looks like IREP has left the lobby. IREP being the support for Tasty Crab Legs here. A really interesting pickup from A-Barn as well. To just kind of talk about the draft that happened a couple weeks ago. A-Barn has picked a very
Last week, but it was the better of the two games. And I think that if they're concerned about Black Hole Sun's general mechanics or anything like that, put him on something comfortable, something straightforward. Mumu can it doesn't even have to hit his Q. He can just flash R and that'll do the trick. And meanwhile, we're seeing Talon get Lucian, and I'm assuming that they're going to pick up a support here, probably something with a little bit more combat focus, if I had to guess.
right. And my immediate thought is Nami. Of course, you got that classic pairing.
Yes.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, you got the Braum too. I actually love this a whole lot more than the Nami. The
Yeah.
interesting factor though is that this is IREP, right? And IREP is one of those players that you don't expect to be like super like insanely mechanically good, and he is. The
Mhm.
interesting part is that this dude plays some of the most creative supports to ever grace the Rift. I mean, this guy has pulled out things like J4. He's pulled out things like the Tom Kench with no flash. Um, I
Maokai,
rep your flash,
yeah.
bruh. The classic saying as the Seraphine comes out for the third pick. That could be going mid or support. Very interested to see. I don't know if Ryoklu plays a whole lot of Seraphine,
I don't know if he
or
does either.
has played a lot of
It's a
Seraphine.
good point you raised up because I know Vrail does play Seraphine. I would say that it's, if I remember correctly, last time he was in the league, it was his second most played champion other than Vel'Koz, if you checked his ranked history and such. He's very
For sure.
comfortable on it. It's the sort of thing that can just bounce back against the Rise, just trade waves back and forth, not really being threatened. And you have that monster team fight potential between the Amumu, the Seraphine alts, and with Jinx at the back line, ideally just taking pot shots.
Right. As we see the Camille come through, the Camille and the Mordekaiser starting to target the top side of the map here. Both hugely powerful picks currently. The Mordekaiser being one like a TCL classic. I'm not exactly sure if it's that good at the moment in terms of overall play, but the Mordekaiser has historically been something that has been
Can I
targeted
make a
towards top laners
prediction?
that do play it.
I want to see what they ban first, but I think I know what Autopsy is going to go if they don't ban it. Ah,
right?
no, they banned it. I was wondering if anyone
Ah,
ever played Kennen. Because Kennen will
cringe
move with Seraphine, that you're just looking at a death ball to rival all other death balls.
for
It's
sure.
like,
That is cringe, man. I love Kennen. Let that little electric rat through as interesting. Okay, so
ooh.
we may be seeing a Sona come through, which
It's a
tells me
rare
that we're
bird in
conceding this bot
TCL.
lane right now. Like they do not want to fight at all. Um, which is interesting because now you have Sona and Seraphine on the same team, and they're both not going to be bot lane, right? We already have that Jinx that's already locked in for Elusive. Um, but man, dude, the AoE heals and the shields and the double ultimates coming out from this squad, like look at this hyperscaling team. My only concern here is that this is Teague and IREP on a very aggressive and defensive bot lane setup here. There's not really a whole lot, uh, that the Brahm's going to have to worry about for initiation. As another exit comes through this time on the side of Black Hole Sun.
Uh-oh.
Um, interesting. I don't know if the Sona was meant to be locked in. Very well
So
could have
the
been.
Sona fits with the comp. I'd be a little bit surprised. Um, I'm not entirely sure what the deal is here. So the interesting thing I was going to say is that when you have a team like what they were building out there with all of the different all of these big AoE ultimates and such, it's kind of interesting because on one hand you are very weak until everyone's scaled, everyone's hit their six, and if you ever are down an ult, it's not ideal. So what you generally want to do against a team like that is either A, punch the crap out of them when they're in lane to delay that power spike, which obviously Lucian Braum is well positioned to do. Rise
Yeah.
really isn't generally, but Abarn has a tendency to use Rise to just scooter around the map and make very aggressive plays. So that's one way you can handle it. The other thing that can make it that you can do to counter it, and this is why I think that we're seeing Hippo's pick saved for last. I would not be surprised if we see Hippo go something like Fiora here or something of that nature, because you really. My general thought is that if you're not going to be able to fight these people in a 5v5, which I'll be honest with, like that amount of team fight, I don't know that you can,
Right.
then the alternative is you need somebody to split where you can pry off elements of that 5v5 and draw them to other parts of the map.
Right.
Because
Well,
if you're never going to beat them 5v5, you just need to stall them while somebody like a Fiora or a Jax is grinding away at the base.
right. Exactly. Couldn't agree with you more on that front. I mean, you
Yeah.
have Rise and Fiora split pushing, and you do like a 1-3-1 setup with the Braum Rise, the Braum, the Lucian, and the Zinzao, which I believe was locked in. It makes sense to do a 1-3-1 comp, right? Because if this bot lane's able to get ahead, right, then theoretically they should be able to get some pressure in the middle of the map and around the surrounding objectives, and then of course you have the realm warp from the Rise, right? You are able to always be consistently be moving to those objectives,
Mhm.
um, which obviously
Well, and the funny part about this is it runs counter to the way that TCL often plays. But in a
that's
comp
true. It's
like
true.
what Yap is building here, you really don't want to be fighting for those early dragons because you're just unless you have a gargantuan advantage or the enemy team has made a big mistake, you're not going to win those fights. And like those early like level 3, 4 skirmishes are terrible for this comp.
Right.
So as counterintuitive or as uncomfortable as it is, you really just have to seed a lot of those early objectives, or just make sure that you're taking a cross map objective or something. Um, I don't know. Yeah, I'm seeing King Clover in the chat. We need an Orn here from Autopsy. I 100% agree.
Yes, we
Um,
do. We do absolutely need the Choo Choo Man up in the top lane. Hopefully, Autopsy has that skin. Shout out to Autopsy as well. A player that I've played with in the past. Very calm, cool, and collected player, and is obviously always willing to play the long con and the scaling, right? Playing those weak side top laners. As we see a Dr. Mundo coming out for Hippogriff, this is an exciting one. I don't think I've actually seen Hippogriff play Mundo in a long time.
See, this one I don't understand. Maybe maybe the idea is that as Mundo, you just get so much HP, so much beef that you can just run through the entire enemy team and kill Luciv. Is that
Right.
really realistic, though? I
I
mean,
I don't.
Jinx does a crap ton of damage when she's well farmed. If there's anything that you can count on for Luciv, it's that he's going to be well farmed come mid to late game.
Right.
I
And
feel as though this may be a bit of a missed opportunity because I guess you could split his hippogriff, but I don't know. Ornn can match you, and that's like, what difference does that make then?
right,
It's not
exactly.
like it's not like you threaten an Ornn like say a Fiora or something would.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely think 100% agree with you that this was certainly a missed opportunity from the side of Tasty Crablegs to put Hippogriff on something that has a little bit more agency in the split push and also in the isolated fights, right? Fiora here would have been huge. I mean, look at it, right? You know that this guy's probably going to play Ornn in this composition, right?
Yeah, no.
Um,
As soon as Ken was banned, I figured Ornn was a given.
for sure. I don't know. I don't know what else Autopsy has. I think Autopsy has the Gwen, perhaps. I'm not really well versed in the Gwen Fiora matchup either, so I don't know if that's winning on either side. I would imagine it's probably going to be more of a skill-oriented matchup for those two.
Mhm.
But I 100% agree with you. I think there was a missed opportunity on the side of Tasty Crab Legs. And if I'm playing one of these compositions here, um, it's tough because I feel like if I'm the Jinx right now, if I'm Elusive and I'm playing with a Sona, like I'm a little terrified. And what I mean by that is like this is Talon Braum. This Talon's Lucian, excuse me, with IREP's Braum. And you already know that they're going to be looking to get extremely aggressive in the laning phase.
See,
And
I
not
don't.
you go
This
ahead,
is
go
actually
ahead.
why I very much prefer Yap's team comp. So I don't know if you were listening to the cast yesterday, but one of the things that Andrew is very fond of bringing up, and he brought up yesterday, is that when it comes to TCL, let's be honest, none of us are the most consistent players. None of these teams are professionals, and that's why it almost always is the right move to take an easy to execute comp and just do it. And
Right,
it doesn't get much more straightforward than Ornn R, Amumu R, Seraphine R, Sona R, Lucid basically free firing on stun targets for 10 seconds.
right,
It's a very straightforward comp. And I think that Tasty Crab Legs, I believe it was King Clover who was saying it in the chat over here. If Tasty Crab Legs isn't monstrously ahead by like 15, 20 minutes, it's going to be exceptionally hard for them to fight into Yappapotomi. Like, how on earth do you try to do like the patented A Barn special where you rush the Baron down at 20 minutes into a Sona, Seraphine, Amumu, Ornn who can engage on you from a mile away? It's like,
right. This is one of those games. If I'm Talon right now, that I kind of wish I was playing Ezreal, but you definitely don't want to play that champ right now. So,
no, no.
this is one of those games where it's kind of like you have to be positionally aware, as Talon, because look at this comp, man. Like this
There's a
comp,
lot to catch you. That we'll put it that way.
yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously you have the relentless pursuit, to get away from a sticky situation like that. Um, but you don't exactly know what you're
So
going to be getting into until you actually get into game, which, by the way, we're starting to get into right now. Ladies and gentlemen, it is game one of Tasty Crab Legs versus the Yappapotomi, coming to you on this wonderful Tuesday night. I hope you all are having a fantastic time. Spirit of Fate, let's get right into it.
absolutely. By the way, Toasty, it's important to ask, who do you think is going to win?
That's a great question. It's tough, man, because like I said earlier, we didn't actually touch on this a whole lot while we were in Champ Select, but there are a lot of individually talented players on the side of Tasty Crab Legs with a lot of historical significance in this league, right? You have players like Hippogriff, you have players like Abarn, right? These are two people, two players who have seen it all in this league, right? And then you have players like IREP, right, who also neglected to take the flash this game. It will be a heal exhaust bot lane here on the side of Tasty Crablegs, which is something that we also touched on. You know, IREP is one of those players that would rather not use the flash summoner spell.
Oh no!
Oh no.
Flash in the mastery, asserting his dominance.
Yep,
And
that's our
getting it.
commissioner, ladies and gentlemen. That is our commissioner right there with his classic skin and his classic emotes. Um, But yeah, notably again, right? You have the no flash Braum. Very interesting to always see. But
I mean, I think it works perfectly fine here. Like Braum has his own built-in escape, and he's already absurdly tanky with his shield. I don't think that it, and against this particular team comp, like, does anyone really think that this is going to get into a fist fight in the bot lane where he's going to be the one having to run away? I
right,
certainly don't.
I actually kind of would have preferred the ignite here. From either
I
Lucian
agree
or
100% on that, or at least the ignite on Talon.
right.
I
But
think
here's the
that
thing, right? This is kind of one of those things that I'm just now picking up on. Like Luciv and Sona in the Jinx Sona lane, do not want to fight you at all. And Talon and IREP have very defensive summoner spells here. We have Heal Barrier on a lane that historically wants to get in your face and fight. So I'm very interested to see how that's going to play out here. As we have a little bit of a scuffle on the bot side here, Autopsy going to be getting the level advantage here. Luciv and Ryoklu going to get the early push as well into the Talon Braum, or excuse me, the Lucian Braum. That's going to trip me up this series. Talon, well known for his Talon gameplay in the mid
so
lane.
bot lane should expect this. They just saw the ward cleared. They need to be backing up here.
Right, we got a little
Right,
bit of a jump
They
here.
missed the Q.
Yep,
This
IREP
is
going to be going in.
this
Talon going to be
is
looking for the
moment when it would
relentless
be
pursuit.
really,
Excuse me.
really nice to have that. Oh,
Yep. Okay, we got the Braum passive here on Luciv. Luciv's just gonna be free firing. No lethal temple for him, unfortunately, as Talon's gonna be looking for the relentless pursuit. It's first blood for Talon. Can Ryoklu get something back? The answer will be no. And this is the bot lane that we were talking about here. This aggressive play style, the heal barrier, actually working out for them in the long run. I will eat my words there, Spirit of Fate. That was crazy, as now we have to see a scuffle on the top side here. Hippogriff getting a little low on Autopsy, getting the betterment of that trade as well. It's not looking too great in the early game here for the side of the Yappapotomi with that really early death on Elusive. You definitely do not want to see that in the bot lane.
no, you don't. And see, here's the funny thing. It's like Luciv went with Ghost here, and it's like, okay, I understand conceptually why it has a lot more outplay potential than Heal, but you have to understand within the team comp what your role is, and the role of Luciv here is to be the person who survives through all of the bullshit and is relevant as the game progresses. He does not need to be getting into a fist fight with Lucian under the turret trying to sneak that first blood.
Yeah.
You don't need miracles like that. You just need to not be behind come 15 minutes.
Right, and let's not
now
forget.
both his summoner spells are down and his lane opponent has a kill. I think that they just needed to play that smarter. As soon as IREP went up to clear the ward, you have to know what's coming.
Right, for
They're
sure.
gonna gank you, and you need to be backing off before that they have the chance. The wave was pushed on your turret. It's coming back to you. You don't need to be heroes here.
Right, and this is also something we didn't really touch up on here as well. You know, this is a pushing lane for the side of Luciv and Ryoklu. Now the flash comes in from Talon. Not really getting anything off of that. Really heads-up play, very aggressive there, but doesn't really get anything off of it. As IREP now looking aggressive once again onto the Jinx that has no flash. Ryoklu trying to get the Braum off of him, as now there's a scuffle on the top side as well. Hippogriff going to be looking to get a little bit of damage. Just leveling up there. Doesn't really get anything more, but I mean, look at this, man. It's a shoving lane. It's a shoving lane for Jinx Sona, which is something that, you know, you're kind of expecting, right? But look at this now. They have to play on the Lucian Braum's side of the map here. This is extremely dangerous when you're playing
trying to shove it well, actually, they're trying to shove it the rest of the way because this is a freeze unless I'm...
It is! Yes, this is a free freeze for the side of Tasty Crab Legs. So now, as the Jinx Sona that's trying to scale, you're in a really dangerous position, especially when you don't have Flash Ghost. IREP going to be positioning a little bit aggressive here. Gets the Q onto the Ryoklu. Does not get anything more. But look at IREP in this bush control. Right?
Yep.
This is exactly what you want to be doing as IREP. You want to be making them kind of a little bit scared here, as now he's going to be walking up, gets the Q once again onto Ryoklu. But this is exactly it, right? Now they have the wave frozen. This is exactly where they want them. The Jinx Sona can't walk up. right? If they
I
walk
don't
up,
actually
then
know if this wave is frozen anymore because it looks like there's just enough of a disparity that it will slowly
it'll
push.
slow push. It'll slow push for sure.
Now, unfortunately, Amumu is trying to. Oh my gosh!
Yeah, Moon's looking for a very aggressive dragon here. The flash forward from A-Bar, the Rune Prison coming in. Talon looking for the relentless pursuit onto him. There it is, but he does get the dragon anyways.
Okay,
Wow,
I take
okay.
back what I said. Genuine hero play there from Amumu. I was thinking to myself that, like, yes, you technically have prio, but this is your bot lane. I don't know if they can really realistically help you out here. Turns out it doesn't matter in the slightest because he actually manages to flash and bring down the dragon just low enough. And yes, he dies to the Lucian, which is not ideal for the bot lane, who now are going to have to deal with a little bit more threat from him. But this is actually really important because remember I said earlier that it's difficult to play as a comp like this because you have to more or less seed your early, your all these early fights. Well, if you get a free first dragon, then who cares if you have to seed a dragon fight?
Right. That's not, I mean, it kind of sucks, like you said, that the Lucian is now really far ahead of the scaling bot lane of Elusive Rioclu. A couple CS up, just kind of chilling now. 2 kills. I'm really happy if I'm Talon. A-Barn, I don't think A-Barn needed to flash there. I think that was a little aggressive. I think he probably could have just walked up. He did have Realm Warp available. I actually think it probably would have been better for him to Realm Warp. Just use that as now we have Call the Forge God coming in onto the Grubs here. Black Hole Sun getting another objective, but is going to lose his life for it as now Autopsy looks to get something back. Frail with a beautiful Seraphine ultimate. It's the backline. Autopsy gets 1, Autopsy gets 2, and now it's a 2v1 onto Hippogriff. Can Hippogriff survive this? I believe the answer to that is going to be absolutely not. Another knock-up onto Hippogriff. Frail coming in once again. Autopsy getting 3 kills in that exchange. Meanwhile, the bot lane not looking too great here.
The bot lane doesn't look great, but let's be honest, this is not the end of the world. Lucian should be backing. Elusive should be backing here. I know he wants to try to pick up like any experience he can, and this hurts to watch. But IREP has his ultimate. Talon has used his ultimate. This is really, really risky.
Oh man, Elusive, brother, you cannot be in this position right now. Level 6 available for the Braum, but it does look like that they're going to back. Definitely something that you want to do here. Kind of get that gold up, get your items up here with the gold advantage that you now have. 2 kills up.
Can we talk about this? Black Hole is basically just
yeah. What is
around by Teague.
Yeah, that's pretty sus here.
You don't want that Black Hole. You don't want that.
Yeah, very ambitious to do some of that counter jungling here. Black Hole has been good for the smites though. Has been able to claim both the dragon and the void grubs.
Than his last performance. He's gotten all the objectives thus far and was able to trade 1 for 3 on that top side there. This is a very good start for him.
Sure, absolutely love that though. CS jungle clear looking pretty even. Rod of Ages completed onto A-Barn. A collector start here for the Lucian. That's really interesting. We haven't really touched up on these new AD carry item changes, which I absolutely love giving a TED Talk on itemization. And I could go on and on and on about what potential builds could be coming out here for the AD carries now. Yep, Autopsy get a little bit of danger here. Does not have the flash available to him. Teague going to be able to get the W onto him. The knockup sure to follow. Hippogriff is looking for it. No call the Forge God. Now it's available, but he is just going to walk away anyways. Jungle is showing on the top side of the map. They do not know where the Amumu is. They do have an inkling that the Amumu could be bot side though. So maybe a potential play here for the side of the Yappapotomi. Going to clear out a little bit of vision. Make sure that that's all nice and great for the dragon that's going to be spawning in just a couple minutes here.
Yeah, but again, this
dragon
is not necessary in the slightest. They do not have priority bot lane. I would like to see Yappapotomi just sit back, give it up. They're down like 1,000 gold. That's nothing in the grand scheme of things. And in exchange, they have the dragon and all 3 of. Oh my gosh!
Hold that thought, Spirit of Fate. As now we have a little bit of a topside scuffle here. Black Hole Sun. He's looking for the Q. Will he be able to find it? The ultimate coming out here for the side of Hippogriff. He needs to dodge this one, or else he will fall. Doesn't look like he's going to get it, though. Black Hole Sun going to be able to get a trade on the top side here for Hippogriff. It's looking very good. Once again, though, we're talking about the bot side here. Very important. King Clover did mention this in the chat that if they are going to have some semblance to some sort of victory here in this game, it has to come through those early game powerhouses. That early game powerhouse being the Lucian Braum, as now they're going to be able to look for some dragon with that free space that they just collected.
Yeah, and like I said, you don't try to challenge that. You give it up. The fact that Black Hole was able to snag away that early dragon is so huge. Who cares? You're just evening out the dragon. There's no soul threat at this point. Yeah, this is an extremely good spot to be in.
That was very good. Very good gank from the side of Black Hole Sun to be able to get his tank top laner even more fed than he already is. CS looking very even on that side as well. Definitely a little bit of a hard spot to be in if you're Hippogriff onto the Dr. Mundo here. But, I mean, he is Dr. Mundo. He'll get there. Let's give him a little bit of time. More bot lane bullying happening here as now Tikan's going to be looking to get aggressive on the Black Hole Sun here. The Realm Warp coming in as well from Abarn. The flash out from Black Hole. The flash in from Abarn. Walks the other way. The dude's like, what is going on here? Rune Prison coming out. Here comes Autopsy, though, for a potential turn. The Q comes in. The bandage toss will not mean much as now Autopsy's in. Oh, just a little bit more from Frail would have had it as a Mastery comes out. The Caviar here. The Cavalry, excuse me, coming out here from the side of Tasty Crab Lake. Now Hippogriff's on the chase here for Autopsy. Just gonna walk under the tower. Nothing more. Okay, so we got a kill and the Void Grubs here for the side of Tasty Crab Legs. What an exchange.
Yeah, they've evened out all of the early pressure or early objectives that Black Hole was able to pick up. You know what? Not the biggest steal in the world. They got Abarn's Flash. They traded Abarn's Flash for Flash. They lost a kill in the Void Grubs. Not ideal. But the gold going into 13 minutes is 400 gold in favor of Abarn. That's the first blood, basically.
Right.
So...
take a look at those numbers, though.
If King Clover's prediction is anything... Oh, Braille, I don't think you need this.
Yeah, Braille's in a little bit of trouble here. Does have to flash out, though. The drop the beat, going to be able to get a little bit of distance onto Abarn. Going to be A-okay with that one, but that was a little dicey. A little too far up there in that mid lane. Was not expecting T to come through as Black Hole Sun looking for some cover. I want to take a look at the itemization real quick here, just to give you guys a little update here. We did mention the Rod of Ages already on Abarn. That is online. That is scaling the tier near completion as well. But we have the Kraken Slayer coming out for Jinx early. Very interesting item choice. I don't actually know if Kraken Slayer is still first itemable.
That's standard. That's standard.
It is still standard? Okay. Because you would think with the IE changes, you might just want to go back to the old ways as now we have a bandage toss coming into IREP. The shield coming out
no fight here.
Yep. Yeah, there is no fight here. Could have been a little dicey. Realm Warp actually not available either. So got a little bit excited for nothing, but Ryoku going to get some free stacks, though, onto that Sona passive.
Yep. And the other big thing here is that Luciv, despite being down 2 kills against a very nasty bot lane opponent, he's down 10 gold, 10 farm. What did I tell you? Like, Luciv, come hell or high water, he is going to get his farm. It's actually insane.
By God, I will scale, says Luciv as Rune Prison coming in. Not going to be able to get the root there either in the mid lane. Just some trades here. Once again, taking a look at the CS numbers as well. Pretty even across the board here. Lucian's starting to creep up. But pivotally, Lucian does have the Collector and another BF sword available. Probably going to be going into the Infinity Edge. Probably not going to be going into Essence Reaver. I would be very surprised if that was the route that Talon decided to go. As now we have another little bit of a tussle on the top side. Not going to be anything much. But holy crap, man. Like, this Ornn is tanky. Like, you don't want to mess with this guy. Yeah, for sure. Pretty quiet on the map.
Also,
map state is very neutral.
Ornn, so I'm not an expert on how Heartsteel works, but he has a lot of stacks.
Yes, he does. Yeah. No, well, he also got the Heartsteel early, right? He was able to start proccing that Heartsteel
extremely early.
Sure, so pretty early in the game.
This is the part where they're going to start to really crack things open, though. Jhin is picking up the Rift Herald. He's almost certainly going to be able to snap open at least one of these lanes. And there's just no, it's not realistic for them to challenge this particular one. I don't even know if they necessarily challenge the first Drake. You really want the Jinx to have 2 items before you try to get into these big fights. But all that said, I think this will mean that at least one of the early turrets is going to go down. Probably mid, if I had to guess. They're going to just stack resources and try to crack it open. But we'll see. We'll see.
That's definitely the lane you want to look at here. Tower looking pretty healthy on the side of the Yappapotomi.
Or they're no. We got Rise coming bot. We got Rise coming bot. They're looking.
Realm Warp is available. They do have to be a little careful. This Elusive starting to get a little ballsy here on the bottom side here. Trying to get a little bit of damage. Not going to be getting any much though. Drop the beat missing on the side of Rail. But that Rise, man, he's starting to scale. He's starting to look a little beefy as well with the Rod of Ages health passive. Blackfire Torch, though, is available for the Seraphine, a very powerful item in today's meta, along with the Liandry's.
Black Hole!
Yeah, Black Hole actually was able to get the smite out of Teague. That's really important as now Bandage Toss comes in. Drop the beat, does get a root, but Teague shows no fear. He's looking in. The Realm War coming in. Here comes the call of the Forge God. This is going to be a really messy fight. The Jinx ultimate does miss. Ryoklu looking for a very pivotal ultimate. As my stream has frozen, I can now see it's a great day to be alive. As now Autopsy in the middle of it all. Going to be looking for a great fight here. Elusive does get one. Be very careful of the reset. He does have it available. IREP going to be looking to get some damage with the Autopsy. The slam coming in from Autopsy. A shutdown for Talon. This fight's looking so damn messy. Hippogriff in the middle of it all, getting his team the space he needs. It's a double kill for Talon. It's an ace for the side of Tasty Crab Legs. Spirit, what the hell just happened?
Do you remember how I said that I think that they should wait until Jinx has 2 items?
Yes.
They didn't wait
I do remember that.
2 items. They thought that they had the damage and the play to make that happen. They almost did, but not quite. And I think that they've tried to force a fight earlier than they needed to.
Wow,
the long and short of it. Now Aburn has 4 kills, Talon has 4 kills. Now this isn't great.
Yeah, so the stream froze our point of view our point of views, excuse me. Production's letting me know exactly what was going on in that fight to try to break it down. Jake's actually got blast coned from their own team. So Elusive was just like sacrificial lamb there into that fight, blowing both the flash and the ghost there. Really sucks to be Elusive because he got the get excited off, and he definitely could have popped off in that fight, but his team just kind of did it to him. Kind of just said, you know what, like, there you go. definitely a mistake. Was not intended at all, but I'm Elusive, I'm a little sad. As now Black Hole Sun getting a solo bandage toss here. Does not have the ultimate available, so that's just going to be a free dragon and a free kill as now Autopsy TP's in with no health. The ultimate coming out here from Rail. A ton of damage, not really going to be anything much more. That was just really sloppy from the side of the Yappapotomi. A double kill now for Talon, and would you look at the time, Spirit? It's time. It's Baron o'clock, my friend. They're going to be looking for that early Baron, as you mentioned, in the champion selectors. Now, Rail walking into absolute darkness. Good night, my friend. It's pretty much over. Oh, never mind. You are Seraphine and Sona. You will not be dying today. My apologies, but Ryoklu might die. Okay, does not die. I forget who I'm playing against. It's Elusive. Once again, okay, he's not dying at all. What is this? We're starting to see the scaling here from the side of the Yappapotomi. Looking a little low. They're not going to be okay. Black Hole Sun gets a pivotal ultimate. Jinx Rocket coming in for some clutch damage, but it's not going to matter. Black Hole Sun is getting extremely aggressive, getting caught out on these seemingly miracle plays here. And here comes Talon looking for something with the ultimate. Is not going to get anything, does have the collector and the IE, so you do have a couple more shots available in the clips, but does not get anything much more. So, really messy fight here from both sides, but man, that was
exactly
very
what
interesting.
I said, though, where I said they need the patience to just let an objective go. You are not in soul threat. They are now down almost 7k gold, and it's entirely because they took a fight before they needed to. Look at this poor Jinx. She still does not have her second item complete. This
Yeah,
Jinx, if Jinx does not have 2 items, you cannot fight. If Jinx does not have 3 items, you probably still shouldn't be fighting. And there's
absolutely.
no rush to this. There's
Absolutely.
no rush at all. You were
Yeah,
even in gold, you were even in turrets, you were down 1 dragon potentially.
right. They drafted this hyperscaling comp,
And they're
right?
trying to fight too soon.
Exactly. And it comes off the back of Black Hole Sun, right? Getting those really aggressive bandage tosses and ultimates in.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's kind of forcing them in that bad spot, right? If we're
Oh,
gonna
100%.
pinpoint a position where things are going wrong, it's probably there. I mean, just take a look at how long they lived, though. I mean, there were
No, I
three
know.
times, right? There were 3 times where we thought that 3 members were gonna be dead, right? And then the heals and the shields come out from both Ryoklu and Grail, and just keeps Lucifer alive. It's just really unfortunate because Black Hole Sun tried getting in there when they were all really low and trying to make something happen. Did get a kill though, as now we're potentially going to see another team fight here. Once again, like you said, the Jinx does not have 2 items, so it's not looking too great. T going to be able to
There's
get
no
that
fight to
Baron.
be had here.
Right, exactly. There is no fight. It's just a free Baron for the side of Tasty Crablegs, as now Realm Warp actually comes in randomly, as now Ryoklu looking a little low. An insane Amumu ultimate coming out from Black Hole Sun, but he will give his life anyways. Call of the Forge God hitting 2 members of the opposition. A beautiful knockup from Autopsy. Does get IREP, but be very careful about the Lucian. Is looking a little bit low. Looking on the health bar of Luciv, he's looking to get in there. He's looking to get some damage. The scaling coming out here from the side of the Yappapotomi. It's getting a little dicey here, but we are starting to see that scaling come out from them.
Yeah. This
Wow.
is exactly what I'm talking about, though, where it's... I don't know about... Wait, does this work? Is
Yes!
this a thing?
and take... Right, like, look at this gold lead as well, right?
Yeah,
like,
they have almost a 10k gold lead, and it did not matter in that fight.
all statistics say, right, that if they're gonna force a Realm Warp fight, right, without the Ornn being there initially, like, they're probably gonna get at least 1 or 2 kills, right? But even with Baron buff, even with this insane gold lead that they have, the scaling's starting to come through. This Jinx will get items, and when this Jinx does, it's going to be nuts. Like, all eggs are in the Jinx basket here, currently, as we take a look at the gold. 2k up for the side of A-Barn. Wow, 4k up here for the side of Talon versus Luciv. I mean, once again, right, we're taking a look at these gold leads. Now Black Hole Sun actually going to potentially be caught out here. Will just waddle away with his life, but is at half HP. Never mind, is now at a 3/4 HP. We have to remember that there are 2 AoE heals on the side of Yappapotomi, so we can never really count them out. The poke wars here starting to happen. Gonna be for naught though, as the Sona and the Seraphine will just continue to heal them all to full. So now,
as a quick aside, they're going for the dragon. I don't know if this is.
oh, hold that thought here for a second. As the Call of the Forge God actually going to hit 1 member. The Brawl's going to be coming out here. Watch Talon. It's going to be very important. Oh my goodness, the Seraphine ultimate gets all 5 members. Is now Luciv looking to get some damage down. Getting excited here. Mega Death Rocket does absolutely nothing. Going to be trying to kite back for his life, but here comes Talon as Luciv able to critically get that pick. A-Barn is kind of running around. Luciv going to have to dodge this machete. Does get it. A-Barn now a double kill. Realm Warp in. Luciv's just trying to play with his life right now, and it is able to get out. Wow, what a messy fight, but it actually goes in favor for the side of Tasty Crablegs, but Luciv played that really well.
So, I'm going to say it again. Imagine that fight if they're not down 9,000 gold. Because they didn't take they didn't take bad fights early.
Right.
This
Absolutely.
comp is absolutely insane. They need, though, to calm... They need to figure out this early game, because they cannot be taking the fights before Luciv gets his stuff.
Right, for sure.
You just need to let some of these objectives go.
And I think, again, it all comes back, right, to those really unfortunate bandage tosses at the
Not Black
mid to
Hole
late.
Sun going in again.
Well, I mean, Black Hole Sun, yeah, well, Black Hole Sun actually backed off there. Good call from him to be able to let that
He
go.
backed off because he missed.
Well, you know, I mean, he still backed off anyways. Love the intent, though. I mean, you're never going to get it unless you go in, right? So, love that intent there. Black Hole Sun is going to be able to get the red buff for his team. Once again, looking at a 10k gold advantage for the side of Tasty Crab Legs. It's looking very, very dire for them in the gold department. However, in the scaling department, if somehow the Yappapotomi are able to hold out to get the Seraphine scaling, to get the Sona scaling, and to get IE on Jinx, like, if they don't immediately kill Luciv, it's done, right? Like, they are going to just run over the fight. But let's not forget, I mean, this Rise, now going to be looking at his 4th item completion in the Void Staff, I would have to imagine. Rabadon's Death Cap also completed. I mean, let's not sleep on this Rise. Yeah, this Rise does a ton of damage. Definitely more so than the Jinx currently with the... it's not Essence Flux, but it is Flux, I think. Somebody correct me on that. The Rise E. Essence Flux is Ezreal's W.
Sorry, I thought you were talking about an item.
No. Essence Flux is Ezreal's W. I'm trying to remember what Rise E is.
Right,
but you get the ideas. Now, Black Hole Sun is looking right onto Talon. Call the Forge God might be able to get him, though, as he does barely miss the Braum Shield, also there to block it. A 4-man ultimate from the side of Rail, but Talon just rips them apart with the ultimate here. They're going to have to back up and heal up.
Rise teleported in, and he just detonated their backline.
Right, absolutely. I mean, oh man, it's just so sad. Like, this comp, if they could just get IE on Jinx, if they could just hold out, if they could just, you know, take a second to heal up, right? Because that's another advantage that they have, right? They have Sona Seraphine. They just have infinite scaling here onto the heals and shields. All they gotta do is just back up like it's a Warmox. Is now Realm Warp coming in. Gonna try to look for something. Abarn just kind of teleports in, says hi, walks away. But you know what is up? You know what is knocking on their door? It's a Baron, baby. It's time.
Okay, Luciv just got his Infinity Edge, so for the next fight, he will be able to start really checking out those autos. And that's basically that's the win condition at this point. They just need Luciv to get that initial kill, get excited, and go wild. The problem is, though, that the Braum and the Jhin have lots of tools that allow them to slow down these fights. Jhin's ultimate, Braum shield.
Yeah, I mean, Luciv getting that IE is very pivotal for these fights now, because the autos are actually going to hurt, right? This Jinx now has 3 items, Kraken Slayer, 50% crit available to Luciv, as opposed to the 4-item Lucian that now has Serpent's Fang. Very heads-up buy here from Talon, actually. An item that you actually don't really see often on AD carries in particular, because, you know, why would you buy it, right? You know, the stats are great, but, you know, it's not really an AD carry item, especially when, you know, you have a lot of damage with crit currently. But you want that Serpent's Fang to mitigate these shields in particular. Very heads-up buy here from Talon. Absolutely love that purchase. I think it's a very 5-head, very good, as Abarn, 4 items completed. Now going to start the split pushing game here.
Don't start this fight. Okay, good.
I mean, they might, man. I mean, they got to try something here. They got the Baron buff. They have a 4.
No. I meant on Abarn. He doesn't start the fight on Abarn.
I mean, I have faith in Abarn. I'm pretty sure he's just gonna look to do the 1-3-1 here. There it is. We talked about it in the earlier stages of the game, right? This Baroned up Dr. Mundo. This Baroned up Abarn gonna have to flash out from the Seraphine ultimate there. Very big summoner spell actually blown there from Abarn, so they do have a window.
They need to rotate somebody back, otherwise he's just going to do the same thing again. Oh!
Right there it is. Black Hole Sun looking for an engage there. Doesn't get Talon, crucially. There is no ultimate on the side of Rail, but there is a Call of the Forge God. Can they get anything? The answer to that is no. Ryoklu doesn't have either Super Mega Death Rocket. Also not being able to get anything else, and look who's knocking on the door of the Nexus here. It is Hippogriff. Just doing Hippogriff things, gonna have to ghost out. He knows that everybody's there. The little flask there drops with the immunity to the CC, immunity to the slow. Rail going to get hit by another Braum Q. As the Baroned up minions, they're just going to kind of do their job. It's a standard experience here when you have an incredibly fed Lucian and Ryze here with the 1-3-1. I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, I love the attempts here from Black Hole Sun. I think they're exactly what you need to be doing in this context here. Very aggressive, but you do need to be looking for stuff. The problem is that we're not scaled yet. As speaking of problem, A-Barn just walks up there. A beta toss onto him does not gonna matter because he just gets absolutely blown up. The team says, "No, dude, we gotta leave." See you later, Talon. Getting the better half of that one is now they're starting to look onto the eyes of the Nexus. Going to get mid inhibitor first. We do know that A-Barn loves to play that very slow style. That very safe style, right? Alright, let's get inhibitor, let's back off, let's try not to fight. Even though we have the world advantage to us, let's just take it slow. Let's look for, another objective, another fight. Let's choke them out of vision, and let's just get things rolling.
You know who could have used that mentality this game? The team that was actually the one with the scaling top.
I mean,
yeah, no,
yes.
This is the thing that like bothers me. We're talking a lot about what can they do to rebound. That at this point they need a colossal mistake on the part of TCL. They're down 14k gold. Their comp is good, but their comp is too far behind. That's a ton of gold.
We also
I don't know what to say. The thing that frustrates me about this loss is that this loss was from a position where they had a much better team comp and they won the early game. They got out of early game mid, like even in gold, but they pulled the trigger too soon. They were impatient, and that's it's basically the inverse of what I was talking about.
All right, we have a giant team fight here into the base as A-Barn just absolutely collapsed Elusive. Hippogriff now on a killing spree. Watch Talon go, relentless pursuit forward. It is now a double kill for A-Barn, a double kill for Hippogriff, and there is absolutely nothing that the starry-eyed Songstress can do as the Realm Warp now into the base. They don't care whatsoever. Game 1 going to be going the way of Tasty Crab Legs. Wow. What a way to finish that one, man. Goodness gracious. Wow, yeah, I can't wait to see the stats on that one. Very interested to see how that one ended up playing out. Production, if we could get an overview real quick onto the gold. If we could get the gold graph up. I
overview tab.
see,
oh my gosh, that's a damage graph.
I mean, yeah. I mean, take a look at A-Barn's damage, right? I mean, that's just going to come out. Just, it sucks, man, because you're absolutely right. Yeah, that's about what I expected here.
You can see literally the point on that graph where they took the fight before they needed to, and all of a sudden they lose by 16k gold.
Right. 16k gold for the side of Tasty Crab
That makes
Legs.
me so frustrated because they came in with a very clear game plan. They made the proper preparations. They got through a very tough early game, and then they threw it all away because they got impatient over a second dragon.
Absolutely.
It's inexcusable, frankly.
I don't know about inexcusable, but I do think that our friends over there at the Yappapotomi are definitely discussing exactly where this game went wrong and how they're going to be able to remedy it for Game 2. When we come back, ladies and gentlemen, TCL Season 8 continues with the classic bout of Tasty Crab Legs versus the Yappapotomi. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you in a second. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to round 2 of TCL Season 8, your classic bout between Tasty Crab Legs and the Yappapotomi. Glad to have you back. Thank you so much for sticking around. Spirit of Fate, let us kind of chew on exactly what that last game was. I think both comps had really excellent ideas and drafted well, but only one could have been executed better. Right, and I definitely think that Tasty Crab Legs executed their comp much better than the Yappapotomi. But I think Yappapotomi had a very interesting idea going on. I just don't think it was played to its potential.
No, and I know I sound like I'm beating a dead horse, and I don't want to be too negative on them. I think because frankly speaking, I thought that they played the early game incredibly well, and even though he ended up with a lot of deaths, and I was getting exasperated with some of his bandages later in, Black Hole Sun going for that early dragon and those early grubs, brilliant play because it bought them a ton of time to scale. The reason you need those early dragons as a scaling comp is so that you don't have to run up against a soul clock where you have to fight a team fight before you're ready. What frustrated me about that game though is they got the early dragon, they got the early grubs, they got the necessary things they needed to slow the game down and scale, and then as soon as the third dragon came up, they rushed right in to fight it.
Right.
It invalidated the everything that they had set up to that point. Those entire first 19 minutes were thrown down the drain because they just didn't understand where they were at in the game and what they could get away with. And the funny thing is, they almost won the fight. Like they brought health bars down pretty damn low. And I think somebody in the chat mentioned that it was largely off a blast cone that going sour. But the thing is, imagine they let that dragon go. They scale a couple more levels because there's nothing to fight over for the next 5 minutes, and then Luciv shows up to the next the next fight with two full items and a BF sword or something.
Right.
It wouldn't even have been close. You saw how they couldn't cut through them when they were down 7k gold because of all of the shields and heals. So instead of waiting for their PowerPoint, they tried to fight early in a fight that didn't matter. It, it
Exactly.
that's it, it frustrates me a lot because they had everything in place for an upset and then they threw it completely off of a decision they chose. It wasn't forced on them.
Right. For sure, but I think I loved the idea. I
Mhm.
really liked the idea, and I know that we were talking about this a little bit, prior to game one's draft. Is that we
Mhm.
see a lot of scaling, right? We see a lot of scaling, a lot of front to back, a lot of like hyper carry, Jinx, boring, boohoo, sort of styles of compositional play in TCL.
Mhm.
But we have not yet seen a Sona Seraphine. And if we
We
have,
had
it's
not
been
seen a
a
ton of
long time.
therapy, and I would be
Yeah,
surprised if we did.
right.
I mean,
Exactly,
therapy
right.
does not sound like elusive champ.
Right, for sure. For Sona, being such a squishy champion, a hyper scaling champion. I believe Sona is infinitely scaling. Um, Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe they changed it to infinite. I could be wrong. I'm happy to be wrong. If anybody would like to call that out. Um, But we haven't really seen that yet because Sona is actually, with the scaling that she provides, she's a very risky pick. And we
Mhm.
saw it there in the bot lane skirmish that was happening very early on. Sona Jinx ended up getting the push. They were trying to get that early damage off, get that early stacks for Sona, but it ended up biting them in the butt there because they were just too far up. The jungler was there to cover, and it's Lucian Braum, right? You definitely don't want to be looking to fight them early. And not only that, they didn't have exhaust; they had like defensive summoner spells. I'll
Mhm.
get off my soapbox here. It's draft for game two. It is time, ladies and gentlemen. Uh, Darius being the first ban, Vel'Koz being the second. Again, two pivotal champions for Hippogriff and Vrail, respectively. The Lilia coming out again to stop Teague from being able to pilot that monstrosity of a champion currently. The Urgot actually coming out as well against Autopsy, and they actually adapt for the Braum ban. They,
Interesting.
I actually, I find that very interesting. The
So
Braum.
I'm gonna throw out here. I was ragging really hard on Yappapotomi, but I do actually want to call out IREP. His Braum shields blocked a lot of very critical CC in that last fight, and I think that this is a smart play by them.
Yeah.
If they're going to try to do something similar, you get rid of that Braum.
Okay. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. I have been waiting. I have been waiting to see this in TCL.
The new
Corky
Corky.
first pick coming out here could be, now I say could be, it could be for Vrail and it could be for Elusive because remember, these Corky changes were meant to kind of bring Corky back into the 80 carry position a little bit, kind of be like an early game fighting champion. Um, could be for Elusive, probably going to be for Vrail. The champion actually ends up running a lethality build with Hail of Blades currently. And that build has been the most successful in the mid lane to my knowledge. So hyperscaling once again, boring A barn, XD. It is the Rise once again, and the Jinx actually taken away for Talon. I know Talon is an absolute Jinx demon. So excited to see what that champion could do in the hands of Talon for sure, as the Amumu gets picked back up for Black Hole Sun. I thought he played the Amumu well. I just didn't think that his decision making was that great. As we actually hold on a second, we see the Seraphine. We see the Seraphine in mid. Wait, is this gonna be a Corki for Luciv?
Oh
Oh
yeah,
my
oh yeah,
God,
yeah, yeah.
please,
I think that's pretty
please.
likely.
Oh man, listen, I have said this. I have said this to a lot of my personal buddies that play League of Legends with me. As you see the buy come through, um, for
Interesting.
for for Teague, I have been waiting for Corki to be playable bot for years. And the fact that the champion is now like getting changed, like rest in peace package, I get it. Like that sucks. That was a really cool ability, a really cool passive. Um, but man, I have been playing this game for so long. I have been playing this game when Corki was one of the best AD carries in the game, and to see him back, potentially in that position, is just awesome to see. Now let's not count our chickens before they hatch, though, because this could be a Seraphine support for Ryoklu, or if Luciv wants to get a little interesting, a little bit different,
Most of any
could
get
also be the
interesting.
Seraphine for him.
I would be astonished if the Corki is not for him.
Yeah, for sure. But could happen, right? We
It
still
could
haven't seen all the
happen.
rest
It
of the
could
picks
happen.
here. Very strong drafts from both of them currently. Um, Again, the Kennen and Camille being picked away from Autopsy. The set once again being taken away from Hippogriff. Last ban, the Dr. Mundo adaptation. That's interesting. I didn't
Hmm.
think the Dr. Mundo was that big of a problem in that last game. It was a problem once he was able to get some items.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the problem, right? It
No.
wasn't like the A Barn wasn't the A Barn Rise or the Talon Lucian. Is now we actually see a Galio come in, presumably
For
for
IREP.
IREP. That's
Yeah.
probably an IREP champ, yeah.
Yeah, and this is a neat little adaptation. You've got Vi with the potential for Vi to ult into the backline and then have IREP ult on top of you. You can get some pretty nasty shenanigans off of that.
Absolutely. Mordekaiser for Autopsy, an absolute classic pick. I actually love this adaptation because now there is that factor of being able to take the jungler out of the fight to give Black Hole Sun, who has currently been good for the smites, especially in the early mid game, a little bit more freedom to get those smites off. As we now see the Nautilus for Ryoklu. Okay, so it is going to be a Corki bot lane.
Mhm.
Oh man, I'm excited to see this. Is this the first Corki bot in TCL?
No, no. Speedy Bandito played Corky. I think both of his week 1 matches.
Gotcha. Okay, so we're getting a little interesting with the Corki here. I'm excited to see if it's actually going to be meta. As we see a Vayne top for Hippogriff. How much begging
No.
did this guy have to do in Champion Select
Oh
to pilot
jeez.
that one?
Oh
That's
no
an
no.
interesting pick. I don't
Wait
think I
wait.
like it though. I
Yeah, I
don't
was
like
gonna
this.
say. I don't know if I
No, it's a
like
hit.
any of
Yeah,
this.
I don't like this at all. Um, and I'll tell you why. Um, Hippogriff, an absolutely fantastic Vayne player. I
Is
have
he?
nothing but yeah, I have nothing but respect
Okay.
for Hippogriff's Vayne. I have nothing but respect for Hippogriff's play in the top lane, especially after last season, being able to go to finals with him. Um, what I don't like is how this Vayne plays into this team composition. Okay, you have three scaling ranged champions on the side of Tasty Crab Legs. Okay, your front line is going to be the Vi, who's going to pick a target, and the Galio, who is presumably going to ult on top, right? And the only other engaged tool that you have is the Rise Realm Warp, right? And you don't really want Rise to be your primary engage, right? Now you can get a little interesting with it because you can actually use the Realm Warp to get Vi into that position. So like let's play some
Yeah.
5D chess here. All right, let's use our galaxy brains a little bit here. Spirit of Fate. We use the Realm Warp, okay, to alt the Vi into the backline. and then Vi does the cease and desist um, into one of the immobile carries, right? You could kind of say Corky's mobile, but I mean that W is 100 mana. You know, it doesn't really bring you very far. You know, you get the ultimate onto them, and then Galio ults in the back line. Something like that could work. Okay. Problem is that you have to go through a Seraphine ult, a really tanky Amumu with the ult, with the bandage toss, and you also have to get through Mordekaiser, which again,
And auto.
Mordekaiser can just ult the Vi, right? So I think this is a little bit of an ego pick for the side of Tasty Crab I am not really looking forward to this uh because it's kind of again like that boring side, but I actually think that Yappapotomi might actually take this based off of the team fighting premise alone, the tools that they
I
have
thought that they
at their
had the
disposal.
better comp 2 games in a row, and they threw it. I feel burned. So if you can go for Yap this game, I'll go for TCL.
Right, well, you also got to remember, Spirit, this like you said at the beginning of this whole series, right? Like these are not professional players, right? The
Yeah.
closest player to Masters in this league is Talon. At least to my knowledge, it might be Teague. I think Teague is Diamond too, if I'm
Yeah, so,
not if I'm
yeah,
not mistaken.
I'm not positive, but I could see that case. Wait, no, no,
Right.
no, 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 no. I'll take mid. I'll take mid. Actually, Hitmaster.
Oh,
I think.
well, yeah, I'll take mid is Masters, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
he's not currently in this game. But in the current standings of this lobby, you know, there are
I think
some
it's Teague. Yeah.
incredibly good players in this league. Do not get me wrong. Um, but I have found in this league that it does not matter what your rank is, if you can play coherently as a team.
Yeah.
And I think that the Yappapotomi certainly have that dog in them, if you will. I definitely think that they are able to pull something off like this. If they're gonna do it, this is the time to do it. I think they have a much better composition. I think they have a much better champion repertoire here in this game. And yeah, man, I mean, it is game 2 of Tasty Crab Legs versus the Yappapotomi. Let's get right into it, and right off the bat, Spirit, we love to see that Halo Blades Corky tech. It's finally time.
So the interesting thing here is that obviously the scaling clock is reversed slightly here. If you get to very late game, Vayne, Rise, Jinx, you aren't going to get a lot more scaling than that. But we do have the makings of an invade. This is
Yeah, for sure.
interesting.
I like this, actually. I like this adaptation. Also, notice that Rail actually took the first strike keystone
Yep.
instead of
Uh-oh.
the...
Oh, they're gonna wander into one another.
Oh, they know. Wait, they actually got that
Yeah.
vision there. That's really important. They know that they're going to be invading this. It could be a counter invade. It might actually be good, too. I
Yeah.
think they win the counter invade. They
They
actually win the
don't know
counter
it.
invade. Ryoklu is walking into them. A 5-man talk for IREP, as now First Blood's going to be coming out for Talent, and that is very, very huge. Everyone's walking away. Hippogriff is cutting them out, getting very, very low, though. Watch that passive damage onto the Corki. Remember that true damage. The Gatling gun coming out as well. Massive damage from the side of Luciv. Does have another Halo Blades proc. Not going to be getting much of anything else.
That
Wow,
doesn't
what a
matter.
crazy fight there. That was insane. A 5-man taunt from the side of IREP. What a heads-up play from the side of Tasty Crab Legs to start this game off.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The one thing I will point out though is that so the Jinx got the first blood. Did she get the chance to recall and pick up an item? No, she did not. So the downside here is that nobody on the side of the Tasty Crab Legs was able to reset, and they burned a lot of summoners for that. Abarn burned both teleport and flash. Teague burned flash. Irep burned both summoners. That's a lot for first blood. Now, Jinx getting first blood is obviously ideal, but she's not going to have that early power, at least in the lane. And Irep's having to start with no sums and down a lot of health. Now, they got the rush to level 2, which is going to give them some good protection. If they can stop this wave from crashing, though, and it doesn't look like they will. So they're going to definitely try to recall off of that.
I think they should. 3 CS up and a kill. Looking pretty good for Talon. Both summoners, spells available to them. Ryoklu pivotally actually not using any of of their summoner spells there, so they still have opportunities to look for some engages. Definitely IREP is the target when looking for them. I don't know if you've actually seen Corki in the current meta right now, and I know I'm going to sound like a broken record this game, for sure, as we have a little bit of a trade in the mid lane here of Rail versus Abarn. The bone plating proccing here. Rail actually getting a lot of damage onto themselves here from that trade, so Abarn looking pretty good in this laning phase, being able to phase rush, as now Talon being able to get the Jinx W as a beautiful knock-up there from IREP. Gatling gun coming out. Lucid getting a little aggressive here. I actually like that adaptation here. Starting to get a little bit of agency of this laning phase. Very well done from the side of Yappapotomi to start playing a little bit more aggressive, especially when you have this Corki. In my playtesting experience, Spirit, I will say that with this new Corki change, this new Corki quote-unquote rework, so to speak, you need to play aggressive on this pick. Now, granted, you know, this champion has true damage baked into their kit. You know, they do a ton of damage. Corki's insane. Early game, mid game, they're kind of, you know, mid, and then late game, you know, they're kind of all right. But you really need to get the ball rolling because this champion plays like an assassin now. They play like an assassin bot laner. Kind of like a Jhin, if you will, except without the whole lot of utility, a whole lot of like carry potential. In that vein.
Yeah, and so the interesting thing here is that what they really want, what Luciv and Co. really want to be able to do here, I would think, is crash the wave so that they can sort of set up a bit of a reset and potentially a freeze. You want to be dragging them away from their turret because this position they're in right now is really inconvenient. You like Nautilus wants to have a bit of a lane to chase you down. He does not want to have to be hooking you under turret.
Right, and it's exactly what happened to Luciv and Ryoklu.
They're setting it up though. They're setting it up.
Yeah, Black Hole Sun.
You gotta go in.
Yep, Ryoklu getting a little bit aggressive here. IREP actually uses it. Bandage Toss actually does get out on a Talon. Talon critically does not have to use any of the summoner spells. Ryoklu, though, does get the kill onto IREP. I don't know if that's bugged from Spectator, but IREP did just get his heal and exhaust up, so really unfortunate timing there from the side of Tasty Crablegs, but, you know, unfortunately, Ryoklu gets that kill. It does get them a kill anyways, regardless, so very well played from them. Very heads-up play from Black Hole Sun there to be able to be there for that play. Getting the bandage toss onto Talon to disrupt the fight. And there's that zero flash that we've seen from the side of IREP, starting to kind of bite them a little bit. Now IREP's just going to literally run them down. It is definitely going to be a free kill for the side of Tasty Crablegs. Talon now 2-0 up in this lane.
Yeah, that's pretty spooky. You don't want the Jinx picking up those early kills. It's kind of hilarious for me watching IREP just ghost along there. I think that Ryoklu may have held her flash a little bit too long. I think that if she... Okay.
Oh, hold that thought there, as Black Hole Sun is actually a level up onto Teak. Does get the bandage toss there, a little bit of good damage, but they do know that the Vi is a level down, which is actually really good information.
Yeah, no,
because that tells them that the Amumu is out clearing at the moment.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting because they're getting more or less a farm lane in the top lane, which I'm pretty sure suits this Vayne just fine.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if this Vayne is even or ahead, it's a W. Autopsy is going to have to play this lane incredibly safe. Very, very good, though, is that, you know, Mordekaiser doesn't have that mana problem. You don't have to worry about mana when you're laning against this Vayne. You can kind of spam your abilities. You can, you know, farm with your Q, farm with your E. You got the shield to help you get out of that trouble when Vayne is just auto-attacking you from that distance. Gonna be able to pick up the bottom scuttle here. Pretty elementary here so far. 1k gold up for the side of Tasty Crablegs. Once again, on this scaling side here, just kind of, you know, so far outclassing the side of Yappapotomi. But yeah, once again, we have to talk about that potential to get a little bit aggressive here on this bot side for Yappapotomi, something that we haven't really yet seen in this series. But I like the adaptation. And I'm excited to see where it takes them as the Void Grubs get picked up by the side of Tasty Crab Legs. Gonna be no contest there.
Yeah, but there's also going to be no counter dragon either. So this is a little bit of a slower start on the side of Black Hole Sun. Now, the interesting thing, you mentioned he was down a level. That's been reversed now. They're both level 6. For a second, Teague was ahead of him. But this is good though. This gives Amumu his ultimate. That'll help a lot in these ganks. It's very important, and candidly speaking, with the exception of the one kill in bot lane and the first blood, everything is pretty even. Nobody's really out farming the other in a meaningful way. But we are seeing finally the counterplay here. Abarn and Co are starting to converge here.
Yep, they're on their way. Ult available here from everyone virtually except Ryoklu is now IREP looking for another massive 5-man taunt. Teague in the backline, a beautiful Seraphine ultimate to disrupt the damage, but IREP's going to be able to pick up that kill. Talon now just firing away freely. Ryoklu says, all right, GG, gotcha there here. Autopsy going to be able to get a beautiful E there. IREP now a little bit of trouble, looking for a 2-man taunt. Autopsy will take that, but the super mega death rocket from Talon. It's a double kill now. The Realm Warp to potentially confuse Autopsy here. Yeah, Abarn was actually in the Death Realm there. What a really heads-up play from Abarn to be able to use the Realm Warp to his advantage there, as the Rune Prison should be available very soon. Getting very close. Autopsy getting so close to taking Abarn out. I actually think they could have killed Autopsy there. A little bit of a misplay from the side of Tasty Crab Legs. Probably a little bit of a miscommunication there. But all in all, very positive for the side of Tasty Crab Legs. Well played by them.
100%. Yeah, no, as soon as I saw that IREP was a level up on Ryoklu, I could see this all going pretty south in a hurry. Abarn, you're teleporting a little early here. Oh, never mind.
I think it's fine. Does have the Rod of Ages available to him now, so definitely going to want to get that scaling up. Once again, Talon in a very commanding position in this game already. Has the Cracking Slayer available to him to be able to dish out that damage, but Luciv's farm is looking pretty good this game. 20 CS up. Kind of weather.
What did I tell you? Come hell or high water, Luciv will have his farm.
I will farm. It is my God-given right, says Luciv, with the opportunity to come shortly for them. Wave State, excuse me, looking pretty good for them as well. Can try to get a little bit aggressive if they see fit. They do know that there is no flash for Talon either, as now Abarn actually caught out here. Does not have any flash available, but here comes Teague. A beautiful Realm Warp to disrupt the side of Black Hole Sun. Has absolutely no escape. We saw last time, but he is going to get a 1-for-1. Braille now looking pretty good. Doesn't have a whole lot of health or mana available to them. Abarn now potentially looking for some more damage. Doesn't get it off, though. Could have potentially gotten a kill as Autopsy gets some more damage onto the top side. There's that Amumu that we were talking about again from last game, getting a little bit aggressive. I do like it though. The Amumu definitely knew that the Rise did not have Flash or Realm Orb available. Love that play as Rail just unfortunately going to be missing the ultimate. It would have been enough if he was able to hit it, but does not get it, as now a fight in the bot side once again ensues. Luciv going to get rooted up there, not going to be anything more. Really unfortunate from the side of Yappapotomi. They really needed that kill onto Abarn, and just unfortunately once again not being able to get that ultimate off.
Yeah, and we can start to see the gold lead starting to gently expand here. They're down 2.4k gold. It's really uncomfortable though if you're the Yappapotomi to see those 4 kills on Jinx.
Yeah, very deflating. But if I'm Luciv, I'm looking at the CS, and I have a little bit of copium there as Hook does come out from Ryoklu, barely going to miss there. Does not get the hook that time. Not sure if he actually wanted that to land there. Probably because you have Black Hole Sun coming down here.
So I do want to call something out, and not to rag on him too much. Black Hole Sun still has his yellow trinket. You really want that as a red trinket if you're going to be going for ganks.
Absolutely. But ganks will be had here on the bottom side of the map here. So now Hippogriff just going to be free farming that tower with the grubs there. Beautiful E onto the Vayne as well from the top side. Doesn't get the Q, but IREP actually going in a little aggressive. Wait, IREP actually got a little bit aggressive there. Oh, if Black Hole Sun would have just waited just a little bit more.
Why are you wandering into the Why are you
Oh, just a
wanting
little
all the
bit.
time to go into the bushes if you're just gonna leave immediately?
Well, somebody definitely called it off. 100%. I mean, Black Hole Sun could have called it off. It could have been Ryoklu, could have been Elusive, could have been anyone on the bot side. As Tasty Crab Legs now going to be getting the Void Grubs again, even more split pushing power for them. I mean, this Vayne plus Rise 131 sort of thing happening here. I mean, now that they're getting Void Grubs and
We got a roaming IREP as well.
yeah, we got a roaming IREP, kind of doing his thing in the mid lane. Doesn't get the taunt, does get the E. Winds of War going to be coming down as well. I mean, it just looks so dire from the side of Yappapotomi. I mean, Lucive's farm's looking pretty good. Love that. Opportunity is coming out, but it is pretty late here in the game for that, all things considered, in comparison to... as we have a wow, what an incredible bandage toss there from the side of Black Hole Sun. Does connect the other one. Hippogriff now to gain the tumble. There it is. The Vayne damage starting to come through. That Blade of the Ruin King not quite there yet. If there was there, it probably would have been a kill. Great outplay there from Hippogriff to be able to weather the storm there with the final hour and tumble combination. As now, seeing the jungler topside, it's a free dragon for the side of Tasty Crab Legs.
Good stuff there. Oh, and then we got the Realm Warp.
Wait, hold on a second. I just took a second to take a drink, but we have a Realm Warp on the bot side here. Immediately, Cease and Desist comes out onto Elusive. Say good night. Ryoklu gonna have to use the Dredge line to get away there, rather than using it to help his AD carry. Very heads-up play from Ryoklu. Unfortunate timing there from Elusive, but A-Barn, using that Realm Warp to kind of help get that kill. Very pivotal on the bot side. As we have a little bit of all chat action happening here as well. Lucive saying he's absolutely living the dream bot side. So that very heads up play from A-Barn for that Realm Warp for sure. Well played to them. Cease and Desist coming out as well. Just overall, the communication's there, the team plays there. They're absolutely playing out of their minds this series so far, as we're now creeping up on a 4K gold lead.
Yep. And those sort of Realm Warp plays by A-Barn, very, very classic. You take the objective, nobody comes for it. Okay, we'll bring the fight to you. We've already got everyone along for the ride, so I'm very, very. It's a rare thing to see people leave his Rise up, and I'm glad we're getting to see it. He always makes that champion look way better than its win rate.
Right, for sure. I mean, that is a classic A-Barn champion. He will play it whether it's good or it's bad. And certainly putting on a masterclass here in the mid lane against Rail. Definitely showing us how to play this champion effectively in a 5v5 calm environment. As now, top side's going to be looking for a Herald play. Bot lane pretty much out of commission for a little bit. We got the Kraken Slayer IE combo coming up very soon here for the side of Talon and IREP. Very strong bunch there. Sundered Sky available for Teague. I mean, Teague is basically just going to be an alt bot here in the grand scheme of things of this game. But we did talk about a little bit, while we were talking about the draft phase here, that, even though they're kind of down right now, they're down, 4K. They do have that compositional advantage with the team fight, as now Black Hole Sun getting a beautiful ult on the Hippogriff, but it just doesn't matter. The Condemn is perfectly placed there, as now Autopsy flashes into all of them. Hold on talk here, as Autopsy now looking for a fight here onto Hippogriff, using the tumble in final hour to his advantages. Now, once again, we're having a fight on two fronts here. Talon is unstoppable now. Ryoklu going down very early in that fight. Elusive almost getting the trade back onto IREP. What an action-packed series is this. I love TCL, man. This is fantastic.
No, 100%.
Ultimately, Tasty Crab Legs getting the end of that trade now. 5K.
Oh, wait, we got Braille coming in.
And now we got Braille getting the ultimate there, getting the flash out of Talon as well. Very pivotal summoner spell to be able to get out of him. Man, yeah, there's so much to unpack there.
Starting to really work magic up top.
Right. I love, you know what?
Out 40 CS. It's a nasty
exactly.
place to be in.
Yeah, Hippogriff playing this Vayne exceptionally well, like we were talking about at the start of this series. You don't really get to see his Vayne top a lot.
Like you said, it was a little surprising to see it be allowed, because I know A-Barn normally prefers his top laners somewhat boring.
Right,
Playing
absolutely.
the traditional tanks.
Holy
Oh
moly, look
gosh.
at that damage from A-Barn. Could be getting a
Oh,
solo kill
Ryoklu,
on the rail. Both flashes
I don't know
coming out.
when Ryoklu was planning on coming in, but it was a little bit too late.
Yeah, a little late there from Ryoklu. Would have been a kill if done just a little bit sooner. It's now Hippogriff doing funny Vayne things here in the top side. Just getting so much damage onto Autopsy. There's absolutely nothing that this guy can do. Is now Vrail actually looking for a TP play behind Talon. Oh, critically elusive gets the shutdown there, as now here comes A-Barn in the middle of that fight, trying to realm warp somewhere. He's going anywhere, and he gets his partner out to the backside of the first tier 1 tower in bot. Really heads up play there from A-Barn.
Sure that a Mumu bandage toss breaks the stops realm warp, doesn't it? I thought that CC does.
So it does? Actually, I don't know. I'm pretty sure CC does stop realm warp.
No damage doesn't, but I thought CC did.
Yeah.
In any case, though, I think that he used both the bandages at that point.
Oh, hold on a second. As Hippogriff just does Hippogriff things. These 1-3-1 compositions looking very, very good for them so far. I definitely want to circle back here for the realm warp interaction. I believe it's if you're CC'd when the channel ends, you do not go through. I don't know if CC stops the channel, because it clearly didn't, right?
No, they didn't use CC on.
Oh, hold on thought here. Talon now getting caught out in the mid lane here. His team is not ready for it at all, but here comes the Seraphine ultimate. Very well played from Vrail. That is a big pickup now as Black Hole Sun in the middle of it all. Ryoklu getting a ton of damage. Luciv going to be able to pick up the kill onto Irip as well. We're starting to see that Corky damage, and we're starting to see that teamfight prowess here for the side of Yappapotomi. Hold that thought. Now we're getting another fight here. Here comes the Vi Q onto Ryoklu. Absolutely nothing that she can do. Gets blown up in an instant. Vrail trying to get some sort of supportive damage here as the thumbs up comes out from either one of them. Luciv now trying to get a little bit of damage on the A-Barn, but that will be for naught, as now they have to run away for the hills. The Dragon is available to them, and they are going to be able to get that pickup right there and then, as Hippogriff continues to push up the top side.
I feel so bad for Autopsy. He's down 2 levels. He can't step up even the slightest amount. He has no threat potential at all against Vayne. And to your point, Hippogriff's playing this fantastically. He played patiently in the early part of the game. He dodged out on the key gank really effectively, and the rest of his team is just trying to patch stuff across the rest of the map, and he's being left out on an island, and that he's losing everything up there. And I don't know what they're going to eventually do when that Vayne decides to come visit elsewhere. Like, it turns out that a Vayne that'll beat up on your Mordekaiser beats up on everyone else just as cleanly.
Couldn't have said it better myself there, Spirit of Fate, as now the Baron is pretty much free pickings. I believe they did find... Yeah, Baron o'clock, exactly, right? It's 20 minutes. Where are they going to be going? They're going to be going exactly to Baron. I do believe that they did see Black Hole Sun on a ward there, but they definitely know that they're going to be taking that Baron away from them. Free, clean Baron. The Vayne is fed. The Jinx is fed. Both with Klakens. Kraken Slayer available to them. I mean, man, they have to pull a miracle team fight. They have to kill that Jinx or that Vayne or that Rise. And now that I say that out loud, triple threat is now, hold that thought. Here's Black Hole Sun actually going to get interrupted there from the Condemn. There is so much damage from Hippogriff. They have to be extremely careful. The final hour and the tumble combination. Oh my goodness, Hippogriff is on a killing spree. He's going absolutely nuts. It's a double kill now for Hippogriff, looking for a potential third, and I believe it will be there. It is a triple kill for Hippogriff. He is making me so damn proud to pilot that champion in TCL. Absolutely love to see it, and Spirit of Fate, it's looking pretty doomed here for the side of Yappapotomi.
Catastrophe.
Yeah, how do you deal with this now?
Nah,
right? You have a Vayne that only knows one lane, right? You have yeah, the Jinx that's going nuts here as well. And then you just take a look at Hippogriff. A nice flash ult there coming from Vrail. Doesn't get anything more. Dredgeline not going to be able to connect either. Hippogriff now starting to dance around them. Will have the final hour available to them very soon, but take a look at the bot side there from A-Barn as well, being able to knock down that inhibitor. Oh man, this is so... How do you play against this? right now. At this point, you just play slow and you just get choked
we're
out.
past the point. I think we're past that point. We're into the we need to see some mistakes territory, and I just don't expect to see the kind of mistakes that would be necessary.
Well,
The
here's
one
okay.
shining light is that Luciv is the same level as his opponent, and I think he's the only one. Yeah, because we got level 16 on A-Barn versus what's Seraphine at? Level 14, level 12 on Black Hole Sun to level 13. Hippogriff is 3 levels up on his opponent. IREP is 2 levels up on his opponent. The only person who's actually staying even remotely even in this is Luciv, and it's just not enough. They're down, what, 12, sorry, 11 and some odd change goal 11 and some odd change 11k and some odd change goal. Words are hard. It's everything's cracking. And
Yeah, man.
they might be getting some relief from the Baron, but I don't know what that's supposed to turn into.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we talked about it earlier, right? I mean, the only way that this comp is going to win is if they are able to get that really insane team fight onto a couple of the members, but they have triple threat as now. Black Hole Sun going to be looking for a bandage toss, does connect, will not get anything more. Hippogriff is just free firing onto Autopsy with the final hour in Tumbo. He is absolutely dominating. Ryoklu next up in line. Cease and desist, a 5-man, actually a 4-man from Black Hole Sun. Not going to be able to get anything more as Talon now is going absolutely nuts. That's all she wrote for this one, folks. There is no way in hell you're coming back from that. Tasty Crab Legs coming through here, knocking on the doors of the Nexus. Realm Warp once again. PM is hell. You know who it is. It's A-Barn. They're coming through. They're going to come through right for the Nexus. And that is a round 2 victory for the side of Tasty Crab Legs to end this night out.
G.
Wow. That was, you know, damn the doubters. Or something like that.
I don't know how many doubters there were, but that was a very impressive play.
Well, I can tell you right now, I was certainly a doubter going into that composition, but they played exceptionally well in tonight's bout. Definitely looking at the gold graph here. I mean, just take a look at that downward trend. They were up virtually the entirety of the game from the start of that really nice 5-man counter invade all the way to the 13k gold lead finish. I mean, Spirit of Fate, who are you looking at here for your match MVP? Because
there are two people that I'm thinking of. Honestly, you can probably give it to A-Barn. He made that Rise. I think somebody in the comments was saying he makes Rise look like Faker. I don't know if I go quite that far, but he does make that Rise look really, really overpowered on a champion that, frankly speaking, doesn't see a lot of play for a reason.
Yeah, that champ sucks. That champ sucks, man. And he put on a masterclass with that champion. I would certainly give it to A-Barn.
The other person I want to bring up as an alternative would be IREP. We didn't get to we kind of glossed over it in the first game, but his use of the Braum shield to stuff not only Ornn ults but also Seraphine and Sona ults was really, really, really pivotal in a lot of those fights and really stuffed Yap's comeback opportunities. And in this particular game, flash or no flash, he was using that Galio taunt to just provide so much pressure. So many of those fights were on the backs of IREP getting a 3-4-man taunt, 3-4-man knockup. I think that he's a good alternative.
I love it. Well, I definitely did not just get DM'd by the man himself, the commissioner of TCL and Tasty Crab Legs, A-Barn himself, to literally say you better not give it to me after the performance that he put up. So you know what? Let's give it to him. Let's pull A-Barn in here. Let's get him in here for an interview as he is deafened. Mr. Commissioner of TCL and Tasty Crab Legs, welcome to the caster booth. What an absolutely masterclass performance you put on tonight on the Rise. How are you feeling after that round 2 victory?
We feel like we absolutely crushed Luciv in his stupid yapping mouth. There's nothing I like more than watching Luciv eat his stupid words. And he did tonight because we crushed him and we dove him and we kept coming bot and we killed him over and over and over again. And all that needs to be said is if you clip that play at the end of game 1, where I literally walked up to him and EQ'd or EWQ'd him and killed him.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see happen to Elusive every game for the rest of TCL history.
Specifically on Rise.
Whatever it is. No, I just like watching him die. That's all.
Well, you certainly are poised, in this season to lift your very third TCL trophy. Very well played from all sides. I was a little nervous about the Hippogriff Vayne, especially with how you like to draft your teams and your team compositions. But man, shout out to Hippogriff for the way that he was able to pilot that Vayne against Autopsy, especially on the Mordekaiser as well, because as we know, Mordekaiser being such a staple pick in TCL can kind of get teams a little wary and a little nervous because they do have that the ultimate ability to be able to take somebody out of a really important objective fight. But you guys played it well. Like, you guys played everything super well. The early game was fantastic. Mid game was fantastic. Late game was fantastic.
Everyone would be surprised to hear that I actually called for the Vayne, and even the entire team was super surprised for it. But the logic behind it is that that the only way they're winning, like, Elusive needs 10 people to gank his lane for him to be able to exist in the game. And so Mumus needs to stay bot side, and he did, and he was at all of those dragon plays. And so we knew that Hippo was going to be going top. And like that Mordekaiser, we all know Autopsy, like the guy is, they kind of sleep on him, but he has popped off in some games. And so my logic there is we're going to pick the one champion that literally completely invalidates Mordekaiser. Like, he will not be able to play the game. And like, look what happened. He was down almost 100 CS. No one came top. Like, Vayne was literally at his inhib turret while we were like taking dragon. You know what I mean? It's like there's nothing else to say about it. You go pick the champion, play the lane, and I literally told Hippo, I don't want to see you ever. I want you to be top lane and to murder this guy, and he did.
Yeah, the only lane that he knew was top. There was like one lane, and that was it. He knew nothing else. So, very heads up draft from you guys. Love to see that sort of adaptation when it comes to individual players. So, very well done by you guys.
Hey, Bart, if you don't mind, I want to have a question specifically around game one, because we were talking a lot, and you'll see this on the replay and such, about how the comp prepared by Yap was very, very well suited to late game, and there were a lot of people saying, like, listen, like, if they get out of early game roughly even and such, they're in a very good position. Well, they got out of the early game roughly even. What was going through your mind at that, like, in that, like, sort of critical fight around the third dragon, where you basically ace them and flip the game into its eventual direction?
That was a really close fight. That was a really, really close fight, and we were pretty scared. But we kind of got into like a standoff at the end, and I flashed forward and killed Elusive. I think that's the fight that you're talking about. And we were able to turn that fight around. I mean, I honestly, like, I'll take a quick. I will take a quick, coming back off the character and say I actually really do respect this team. They played really well. I think my problem, drafting against them is that they're kind of a one-trick pony. And like, even after that first game, we came back into the second game draft and we said, no, they're literally going to do the same thing. And as it turned out, he did, right? Because the problem is they've got a jungler who's not very flexible. They're going to be putting him onto those like big tank, Mumu type champions. And you have to build a comp around that. And so we're like, okay, what are we going to be able to play to just play better? We picked the Rise. I do respect the Sona Seraphine. I think that's awesome. But like, because I was on Rise, either we're picking Rise, we're picking Orianna, we're diving onto the enemy ADC, and we're invalidating the whole comp by killing that person. So like, that was what we had to do. We obviously scaled into absolute infinity that game. I like the team comp. It's just the problem is like, Elusive is their one champion. So like, if he doesn't get absolutely huge and our bot lane does what they need to do and they beat them in lane, which they did, then the whole kind of team strategy just goes to hell. Obviously, if Elusive gets ahead, we lose that game every single time. It's not even close.
For sure. Like, absolutely.
They went for it and I respect it, but ultimately I think we did pick knowing they were going to do it. We had a good strategy against it, and I think we executed well.
Absolutely. Yep. Couldn't agree more.
Well, thank you very much, A-Barn. We're getting the little, what do they call it? That like cane that they stick onto the stage to pull us off. So we're gonna.
Everyone has to hear me into infinity.
No!
I'm just kidding.
You should be.
Thank you very much,
A-Barn.
Looking forward to seeing you guys play again next week. And good game to both you and the Yappapotomi. It was a good time.
Yep, absolutely. Appreciate you all. Thank you so much, and thank you for the cast, everybody.
Absolutely, thank you, A-Barn. Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be it for us tonight Thank you so much for watching TCL Season 8 Round 2, our final match of the week. Tasty Crab Legs getting the better half of the Yappapotomi. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Until next week when we see you for Round 3. Stay tuned.